Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Bouk and Zoobie show on the world famous LIR.com, 927LIR.com, and YouTube. I am John Kalaboukas, the Bouk, with my friend Paul Zubulake. Zoobie. So the Jets have finally decided to lock up their talent instead of them walking away.
Well, welcome. Yes, John. Welcome back to the show. And let's welcome back to everybody, hopefully, who's watching our latest episode, right, John?
Hmm.
And you are correct because now we are, doing it every other week. So there's a lot more news that comes out, and some of it will be dated. And I think this subject's a little dated, but of course, we haven't gotten our opinions yet. So, what do you think? I'll let you start with the signings of Garrett Wilson and Ahmad Sauce Gardner.
I like the signing of Wilson because he's definitely a talent with the right quarterback. He could do wonders. Let's see if he could connect well with Fields. I don't like the Sauce contract at all. I think they went way overboard with him. I mean, they gave Wilson 4 years, 130 million, and they gave Sauce 4 years, 120 million. I don't know. I think they just went way overboard with Sauce. Way overboard.
Yeah, it's interesting because I am actually in full agreement, and this is something that we have talked a little bit about over time, and the thought of getting Wilson under contract, as we said, made a lot of sense. And as you just mentioned, quality wide receiver, pretty much a number one, and is done well for the most part.
Hmm.
Sauce Gardner, they made him the highest paid corner in the league. And my view on Sauce Gardner was like, okay, if I'm going to pay him to be the highest paid corner in the league, why don't I wait till he proves that he's the best corner in the league?
Yeah.
Because based on the last time I saw him on the field, he wasn't even close to the best corner on the field.
He couldn't make tackles. Before they used to say, "Oh yeah, he doesn't get targeted as much as." Well, they actually targeted him last year and proved that he has some holes in his game. I
Yeah.
mean, especially tackling. He was awful with tackling last year.
No, he had a rough year overall. His hands of stone. Early in the year, he had a horrific dropped interception. Still waiting for the replay of that, by the way. And then ended up with one at the end of the year. So he's just not a ball hawk. He can cover. There's no doubt about that. And he does force the ball to go elsewhere, but that was more in year 1 and 2.
Right.
Last year, the refs were starting to pick on him, and the league started to pick on him much more, and he didn't really respond. So he's going to get a mulligan from me based on his performance on the field, because I really do believe once Salah got fired, the defense just kind of just gave up, and which is not a good sign overall.
Right.
But so I'm going to give him a mulligan. That would be to see what he did this year. Let him prove it on the field. He still has another year on his deal, and
Yes, he.
then you make him the highest paid corner. Considering most of the top corners of the league just got paid, there's not maybe going to be another guy that's going to get paid more than him. So they could have waited. They went for the let's make him happy, he'll play better theory, as opposed to proving it on the field. And John, let's face it, only time will tell. There'll be no, I mean, the fans will be all over him if he starts off poorly, along with the team. So this season coming up, which let's face it, John, how happy, well, at least I am, that we are taping on July 23rd, and camp opened technically today was the first practice.
Yeah.
And the funny thing happened. Today I was like, let me just try to catch a little bit of Aaron Glenn's press conference before I go on the show, because I have purposely stayed away from all the press conferences with Aaron Glenn, because I just don't want to fall into this trap of making it he's a football coach, not about a Jet who's now the head football coach. And because there's a certain amount of likability with the guy and being a Jet, so there's obviously a good feeling that everybody has. So I went on went on YouTube quickly to see what he said, and he went through the usual stuff in the beginning, like any the generic questions, pretty successfully. But only the Jets, John, could have technical difficulties because once they got to like halfway through, you could not understand anything anybody was saying. So when uh, when the owner decided to clean house at in Florham Park, which he did, they got rid of a lot of longtime employees. Maybe they shouldn't have gotten rid of the video guy because whoever did it, maybe it was one of his kids was doing it. I mean, that was pretty amateur, Sean. I don't obviously. I'm sure that I'm breaking this news to you.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. Or what they were showing off to everyone is their new locker room. They were showing
Yes,
this
yes.
beautiful and it is a beautiful locker room. I mean, wow, you're putting all that money in. You almost feel like living in that place. It's beautiful.
Well, Florham Park's always been a top-notch facility. I think the owner did feel guilty when he was basically voted the worst owner in the league. So, what better way to try to get into the good graces of the team is to provide a better atmosphere. So, I guess I mean, I thought it was top-notch already, but I guess it was that barbershop that really made the difference there, John. So. I feel bad. I mean, whoever gets that gig over there is going to be a happy guy, but I kind of feel bad about the local barbershops in Morris County, New Jersey.
Well, uh, listen, if it helps improve morale and gets them and the players are happy and they produce, I'm all for it. Let them put in a McDonald's restaurant for all I care in there. Just let them help produce. Let the you know they really need. What's the best way for me to say this? They need to turn over a new leaf because morale was terrible. I mean, the body language was horrible last year. I mean, it was just
A disaster.
it was really a disaster
It was a
last year.
full-fledged disaster.
Yeah.
And this is what this organization has done to its fan base. They turn it over every 4 to 5 years consistently for the last 50 years, and you have hope. And that's what brings you back. So one thing that I just want to kind of bring up, for people to look think about. This is my thought, and this is going to be one of the first things that I'm looking at when it comes to Aaron Glenn as a head coach. Playing his starters in the preseason, John. I want the starting offense and defense to play. Now you've got 3 games. You don't have to play them all 3 games. You could sit them out the first week with if you want, or you could sit them out the last week, and just either way, you've got to get the starters on the field, and I mean all of them, including Wilson, including Gardner, including Quinn Williams. Get them on there for 2 to 4 series game one, and then let them play a half in game two. And then if you want to sit them before the opener, okay, I can live with that. But I want to see these guys on the field. That is something to watch for folks, because if they are selling this where the organized practices and just practicing together is enough and they'll be ready, that is going to be a red flag for me with this new regime.
Well, the one good thing that Glenn said, I actually read it in the paper. I didn't see that press conference. Is that he did mention about what it feels, how he believes Jet fans feel about the team, and he wants to change around that thought process.
Right, right.
So,
He's sympathetic to us.
yes,
That's a good thing. There's
yeah,
no doubt that the knowing it and being here and living it, he knows the years of disappointment. So
yeah.
that's a good thing. So he's off to a great start. I wish him all the luck. I mean, I want him to succeed so bad. But we're going to judge him on his actions.
Yeah.
And the front office has made their move by paying their 2 players. I think they're going to stop there. I don't think they got some other very tough decisions, especially on the offensive line with Vera Tucker and John Simpson. Were actually going to be unrestricted free agents. Now, of course, they could franchise tag those guys. So I don't want to get into that sort of stuff. That's next year's stuff. This team this year, the expectations are basically zero. So there's only an upside. So it's exciting to see a new offense, a new defense, a new head coach, a new quarterback. So there will be excitement, but won't last, right? Unless they perform on the field and just look like a quality team, know what you're doing.
Right.
And hopefully the era of dumb plays and dumb penalties is over, and they just cannot accept that. And he needs to cut guys who, in the preseason, if they continue to do bonehead things, he can't be afraid to cut guys, John. He
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
So hopefully he won't. He won't.
Well, and it's funny that you use the word excitement because I'm actually excited. Maybe it's in our personalities. We're always optimistic. We always want the best for our teams. I'm actually excited to see how they're going to do because, like I said, we don't have any expectations for them. And listen, if they're entertaining and they're growing as a team, I'm okay with that. I don't need them to make the playoffs this year. I
It's
don't
how
need
they
them to
play.
be.
It's
I
how
don't.
they play, right?
Right.
It's how they look, I should say. How
Right.
they look as a team. Are they going in the right
Right.
directions? Does the coaching staff know what they're doing? Because it's going to be rough, John, because first year coaches are going to make mistakes. We've talked about many times, I've mentioned about him falling into the trap with the media once the games start.
Yeah.
So hopefully he'll be okay with that. And they have a rookie offensive coordinator that nobody can predict how this is going to play out. It's easy to say, oh, we're going to run the ball a lot. Well, you think the other teams don't know that. So what happens if they're putting 8 guys in the box and they're forcing and they're jamming Garrett Wilson at the line of scrimmage and they're playing real physical with him? Who is going to step up, right? If you can't, if that's the big part about this, is that if that's what teams are doing, if they're going to jam the box to stop the run and force Fields to beat them without the weapons on the outside, that's going to be the big test for this team because I fully expect teams to do that. You'd be stupid not to.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, you'd have to be in a situation. I'm not going to let Justin Fields run on me. There's no way. I'm going to force him to be a passer and let him prove that he can pass from the pocket, pass on the run, and make the quality decisions. So it's going to be a learning curve, John. And
Yeah.
you know how the NFL season works. There's just not a lot of time.
It's not a lot of time, and it's basically what is it? 4 weeks from now, 5 weeks from now, we start.
Well, opening day is a little early. It is September 7th, right? Because I guess
Yeah.
Labor Day is very early this year. So that's
Yes, it
great.
is.
I mean, those, and then next year, by the way, it goes the other way. So I think the first game will be like on the 13th. So enjoy this season while you can, folks. Pittsburgh home opener, 1 o'clock on a Sunday. I mean, that is just how can you not be excited for that? I don't care who you are, and I know we have talked about just giving up on the franchise. That's kind of been my motto. That I'm looking for an ending of the book. And I mean, the Rodgers disaster is probably a good way to end a book, talking about 50 years or 55 years of being a
Wow.
Jet fan or whatever the crazy number is, and basically losing. So we're going to be optimistic, as he said, but we're going to tell it like it is, folks. So that's my first little tidbit is to watch that first preseason game. Are we going to see some starters? Personally, like I said, I want to see him, John. I want to see competence. I don't care if it's against a second string of another team. Who
Yeah.
cares? I want to see our first string look competent. Okay, you get in the game, you play week one against the second string, you go down the field and get a touchdown on the first drive and you look great. All right, maybe I pull my guys. You pull Wilson and you pull uh, Brees. But Fields has got to play, man. He's got
Yeah.
to play.
Yeah. He does.
It's
He does.
not.
I mean,
It's crazy. With the new offense, he's got to play.
He has to. You know, the what happens is again, it's the same old nonsense in the media. Oh, he threw this beautiful 60-yard pass, and it was amazing. He hit the guy cutting across. I'm like, there's nobody covering him. There's no one coming after him. Of
There's
course, he
no one
threw
coming
these
after him. Yeah.
beautiful passes.
Yeah, no, I know it's tough. The media's got a rough job in the preseason because it's just they show so little. They practice not as much, right? There's less hitting, less pads. So we'll see. And of course, I'm excited to see the rookies. Especially we could count Mason Taylor as a Jet because the NFL. I don't know if you were following this. They had this situation with their second round picks where two teams at the top of the second round gave their picks guaranteed, fully guaranteed contracts. Unheard of stuff, John.
Oh
So,
wow!
so the first rounders have pretty much been getting their contracts guaranteed, but the second rounders they just get a portion, sorry, of the all overall contract guaranteed. Of course, if
Right.
they play the 4 years, they're going to make the money. But that was going on, and because the top two teams in the second round gave guaranteed contracts. No other second rounder was signing. And then finally, the logjam broke last week. And then once one came in with not 100% guaranteed, they all started coming in. I'm not sure what Taylor ended up getting. He got most of it guaranteed. It was maybe 75, 80%
Hmm.
type of thing. But guaranteeing for your second round picks, John. I mean, just think of the Jets busts in the last even 5 years. Imagine paying Denzel Mims 4 years guaranteed
Oh,
money after busting. So I'll tell you, this is definitely going to make the GM's job a lot harder because they can't miss in the second round anymore.
but it shows what type of talent they had this year in football in the first and second rounds.
Well, it's a it you I don't know to say it's talent. I mean, it's just one of those things that year by year NFL players are getting more of their money guaranteed. It was always the signed 75 million but only 50 million's
Right.
guaranteed, right? So it's always the shenanigans. And in Kirk Cousins, right, he broke it, right? He was the first guy to get a fully guaranteed deal. And then
Right.
since then, there's been a lot of fully guaranteed deals. And now the rookies, like I said, the first rounders, I believe, have been pretty much guaranteed
Yeah. Yeah.
the 4 years, and then they have that fifth year option. So anyway, I'm excited to see. I mean, it's hard to say Membu's an offensive tackle, so it's a little hard to say I'm excited to see an offensive tackle play because it's harder to evaluate a guy. But yeah, it's just going to be great. I mean, it's got some new blood, and again, like you said, there's nowhere to go but up for this franchise. So I
I mean,
believe the
like I
number is
said,
still 5.5, John. Under over. We'll do our under overs right before opening day, but I have to go over 5.5. My God, I mean, please.
hey,
5-12 again. Oh, that's good. It's gonna be rough. Bouk and Zoobie
I
will
would
be.
say we would be above that. I
I
think
hope
we'll be
so.
above that because that would be a real disastrous season.
So I did not get to catch Joe Shane's press conference today. So he did the same thing. He actually spoke. That was pretty interesting. I'm sorry, fans. So just telling everybody to go check it out if you're a Giant fan, because this is John. This is one thing that came out of Giants camp was that Russell Wilson is the starting quarterback. Like there is no competition. So
Wow.
this is just lining up as we discussed. Joe Shane, a brilliant idea about taking a quarterback in the first round and not playing him in the first year, basically guaranteeing that you're going to be back the year after. So I don't know about the head coach, but the GM will be back, and really just a brilliant move by him.
Listen, I don't think that Dable is under the gun either. I think
You
that
could be totally right. Same idea because he's
I
got to
think
work
I
with
think
Jackson Dart, right?
yeah, I think that they're giving them a bye this year, both of them. When they have the rookie start next year, then it's a different story. Unless Russell Wilson is a total catastrophe and they have to throw the kid in, like unfortunately, like the Jets did with Zach Wilson, then he's going to learn on the job. But I think they're trying to protect this kid.
Well, that would be the smart move for their futures and for the kids' futures, because it's ridiculous that he is going to be a savior. I mean, I told you already. I'm not that high on Dart. Oh, he may prove me wrong. I don't see him as a first round talent. We'll see what happens. But yeah, you're right. I think no doubt if the Giants are struggling, John, they say they're 2-6. I mean, it's going to be, I mean, they're going to be burning down the stadium if they don't make a move, because it's going to be like the Eli model, right? Where they brought him in for the last 6.
Yeah,
But if they start off really bad, it's going to be rough. So maybe they won't. They're going to be exciting on defense with their number 1 pick,
yeah,
Abdul
yeah,
Carter. I
yeah.
mean, they with him and Burns and Thibodeau and Dexter Lawrence. My God, they should be getting pressure on the opposing quarterbacks. So you have to be optimistic if you're a Giant fan, how they can do it defensively. Now, of course, they need their second, their linebackers and their secondary to be as good as their D line. But I mean, I can't see how they're not going to get a lot of pressure on the opposing quarterback. So they have potential, even because let's face it, Russell Wilson, he's, obviously past his prime, but he still knows how to play the game.
Yeah.
Can he get them to a 500 season where they don't have to play dart? I think they could. So I'm not sure what their over and under is. We'll definitely check it before our preview
I
show.
think I think that the Giants, the way they've set it up, this is like an old time Giants team that they're relying more on their defense, and it's probably going to just do very little passing and just running the ball, just like trying to control the time. And that's the way I'm looking at them right now. The way they're structured, I just think that they're going to just run the ball and just try to beat you to death, and just keep it low scoring games.
Yeah, so I think Andrew Thomas started the preseason on the pup, as did Jermaine Johnson of the Jets. Both are expected to play opening week. That's something to continue to watch. So Thomas has just been great player, but he hasn't been available. They're moving Evan Neal, their disappointment at tackle, inside to guard. And
Hmm.
of course, they have one of the greatest personalities I think they're going to see, Bo Scadaboo, and Giant fans will be fired up for him. So with him and Tracy at running back and Malik Neighbors healthy, looks like he's ready to go. So you never know, John. And the same thing I think will go with Giant fans. Again, you got to be optimistic. Again, going into when you're a professional sports fan and being negative going into a season, it's just you got plenty of time to be negative. Let's put it that way. So let's wait for some bad performances before we get negative. And don't worry, folks. On the Bouk and Zoobie show, we don't hold anything back.
Yeah, we'll tell you like it is.
Anyway, well, speaking of that, I wanted to thank everybody, as always, for checking out our show, right, John, on youtube.com. Please like the episode, subscribe to the channel. And for our Spotify listeners, as we want to thank them as always, same thing, subscribe, like the episodes. And if you want to check out our content, you got to search it, John, on youtube.com, Bouk, Bouk, and Zoobie, Zoobie, as well as our friends at the world famous LIR.com, 927LIR.com. And they did not have an Ozzy Osbourne tribute over at LIR, I do not believe. But it is interesting, John, that a music icon, not from really our likes of music, let's face it, but we should mention Ozzy Osbourne, where I think most people, I shouldn't say most people, a lot of people know him from that show he did, right, with his family, where they kind of just mocked him constantly throughout that episode, that show. So I did see it a few times.
Yeah, my wife used to watch that show, and she grew to love Ozzy
Yeah,
because of
there
that
you go.
show.
Right, exactly. So he had like this whole, I mean, when he was a rocker, he was obviously a little insane, right? Famously biting the chicken off the head of a live chicken, I guess, when he first started. I don't know if that's
No,
urban
no,
legend.
wasn't it a bat?
or bad, or that's what I say, chicken. So there you go. That's so much my history on. My friends are gonna give us a hard time for that one, John. So not knowing the history of Black Sabbath, but I did want to mention Ozzy. But as always, yes. Again, thanks everybody for checking out the show. Because again, we are a word of mouth show. So tell your friends.
Yeah, it's funny you brought up Ozzy Osbourne. Um, at the I attended the Met game last night, and they were actually playing Ozzy during the breaks, so that was pretty nice of them.
There you go.
Yeah,
All right, a little tribute to. Yeah, again, he. I think it's just it, it's just that whole genre of music, heavy metal, right? It's just a unique group that I think enjoys that group of people who
yeah,
enjoys it. I personally do not. It's funny if you think about like I like so many different genres of music, but I have to admit heavy metal is pretty much on the bottom of that list. So anyway, whatever. I'm sure people throwing rocks at the screen for me saying something negative about heavy metal. So nothing wrong with heavy metal.
yeah,
Anyway, R.I.P. Ozzy.
yeah, yeah.
So what else? You got anything else in the NFL? That you want
You
to talk
know,
about?
actually, one thing that we didn't mention, and it's been a while, is C.J. Mosley retiring. We
Oh, we
we
never
never really
mentioned that,
even
huh?
spoke about that.
Oh, I thought we did, but okay. Well,
Yeah, yeah.
so
I wonder if they're gonna have him around as a coach, if they're willing, if someone's willing to hire him as a coach.
you know, it's funny. There was something I read about Mosley where I think he's going more into, is it was like on the player agent side or the financial side to
Oh, really?
support
Oh, I didn't know
players.
that.
I
Okay.
think, yeah, it was something regarding that he wanted him and as a friend of his were going to start a company. I'm not sure exactly, but it's some sort of mentorship for a lot of young guys who get into the league. And it's a big difference when you're in the NFL. So Mosley was people they loved them, but for the Jets, it was let's face it, it was a disaster. They
Yes.
signed him to a huge deal. And I'm sorry, he's still known for me. My most memorable moment when he jumped offside against Denver a few years ago, and he made that completely. I think it was Denver or Buffalo. No, it was Buffalo, right? It was
Buffalo.
Buffalo,
Buffalo.
where he just made, and then after the game was just kind of not joking about it, but making it sound like, oh, I just wanted to make a play, and it was like that was one of the dumbest plays, and that was almost like the poster child of the Robert Saleh era,
Yep.
where one of his best players, smartest players, commits like a dumb mistake. It cost them.
It cost
So
them the game. Yeah.
so I'm going to remember CJ for that. He didn't play the COVID year either,
That's
and
right.
he also had injuries. So as a Jet, I mean, you can't say that. I don't care. There's no way anybody could say that that was a successful signing. It
No,
wasn't.
no, no way. No way. He was never on the
Uh,
field. He was never on the field.
yeah, well, especially last year, they phased him out quick. So yeah, no, he's gone. So yeah, no, the Jets they're young, John. They're young. This is a young team.
Yes, it is.
Um, so, like you said earlier, they paid their top talent. The one guy now to watch, which I actually predicted 2 years ago that the Jets would blow it with Brees Hall. Brees Hall went out and had a kind of average year, look like with the rest of the team. So if you're going to give Sauce Gardner a mulligan for last year, I'm going to give one to Brees Hall as well. The
Yeah,
thing with Brees Hall is the difference. He's not signed. He didn't get an extension. And guess what? Because he was a second round pick, he's a free agent. And, only in the Jets could have him go out there, have a career year, and then leave. So
yeah.
that's something to watch. I mean, I guess that's a good problem to have. We hope he has a career year.
I think he's gonna get an extension.
You think so?
Yeah, I think they're gonna. He's that good. I'm sure that they see this. I mean, he really is a good player. I
Well,
mean
they
that.
need him. He's got to play better. He put the ball on the ground way too much last year.
Yeah,
It's just last year. We just have to throw it out for everybody. I think we're just going to throw it out. I mean, you fire your coach after 5 games when you shouldn't have. and then everything implodes, and then you have a guy who wasn't ready to be the head coach. You make him the
Right.
head coach, and he's got to be the D coordinator. So, I mean, Woody Johnson takes the blame for last year, and obviously Douglas and Saleh took they were I don't want to say scapegoats because they had their chance. It's not like they didn't have a
Oh,
chance.
they had plenty of chances.
Right. So it was time. Woody is obviously staying in the background, worrying about barbershops and the locker room. That's good. We haven't heard Brick Johnson's name yet. That's good. We'll just see how it plays out. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to obviously the whole NFL season.
Yeah.
So I know there's definitely some holdout situations to monitor still out there. Guys who are showing up but not practicing. James Cook with the Bills, Hendrickson with the Bengals, Micah Parsons, right, with
Yeah.
Dallas. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's more. So there's definitely some intrigue. And then also, I guess, a bunch of guys signed huge deals, right? TJ Watt signed a very large deal. So a
Yeah.
lot of guys are getting extended. But yeah, that's the way it is. Professional sports, folks. People make a lot of money
Yeah.
because, John, they're generating a lot of money. Because that's another story we should mention. Because I don't know if you saw this. The Packers are like a unique NFL team, right? It's a different situation where the shareholders own the team, and then they distribute, I guess, the revenues back to them somehow. I'm not sure how it works, but Mark Murphy, who was the guy basically running the franchise for the last at least decade, is now retiring. So I guess it came out what their revenues were, John. So what do you think the revenues for, and this is a shared revenue that every NFL team is taking home. What do you think the number was in 2024?
Oh, wow. Per team?
Yeah, each team gets the same amount because it's like the way they split it up. So they had to disclose what their revenues were because I guess they're a quasi-public company. Is that I wouldn't have known even remotely the number, but
100 million?
$432 million.
Do you know, I was originally going to say 400 million, but they said that would be way too high. Really? Wow, 432. See, I can't believe that. Wow.
So that's why Woody Johnson is buying a
Wow.
football team in Europe because win or losing, John, you're making a ton of money
That's a
owning an
ton of money.
NFL team. And that's why these franchises are going for crazy numbers. And the
Wow.
NFL is just the king of all those things
432 million per team.
per
So
team.
wait a minute, you're
Revenues,
talking
of course.
about well over 12, 13 billion dollars. Wow. Wow.
There you
Wow.
go. So it's big business. We're talking big business, and good for the NFL. We love the NFL. So I don't know. Do you have anything else out there? Again, I
No,
have been.
no.
It's too. I mean, it's only July. It's great. It's back. We're going to start talking about it, and that's good now because we're still going to do every other week. Right before then, we'll do our NFL preview show right before the season starts,
Yeah.
and then I guess John will be back to once a week, and
Yeah.
then hopefully we're talking about some winning football. I really hope so. But at the same time, John, there's always something going on in sports. So before we get to our main attraction, I'll throw it out to you because you told me there was some basketball news. I wasn't aware. So what do you got for us?
Just some quick signings. Again, some more crazy signings.
Okay, what do you
Um, Devin Booker signed
got?
an extension. 2 years, $145 million. So now if you combine everything, he has 5 years, $316 million for a guy that's been on a barely 500 team. You had Williams from Oklahoma City. So you know that they had Holmgren signed, the Alexander, now they have Williams.
Yep.
5 years, $240 million for Oklahoma City. I mean, we're not talking about LA, New York. This is Oklahoma City.
Yep.
I mean, these are major numbers.
Rabid fan
Um,
base though, but yeah, yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Damian Lillard ended up re-signing with the Trailblazers. He went back to the Trailblazers. 3 years, $42 million. So that's on top of the money that Milwaukee still owes him. So
But is
he's
he going
out,
to be ready?
out this
Is
year.
he? He's out this year.
Yeah, he's out this year.
He's already out for the year.
Yeah, so they're
So
giving him basically 2 years, 42 million is what they're giving him.
right, right, right. All right.
Bradley Beal had a buyout, was bought out,
They
and
did
went
buy him
to
out.
the
Okay.
Clippers and signed a 2-year, $11 million deal with the
That's
Clippers.
it.
That's it.
Because he's got all this money coming from the
They got all
buyout.
the money.
So they got him that cheap. That's actually a big development. Now, he gets a lot of flack for being a knucklehead, John. Now, I cannot be, I'm not going to lie and say I've been following his career, but yeah, definitely some negativity thrown his way. So he's going to go play with James Harden, right? Is that,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and Kawhi Leonard. So,
yeah.
all right.
It might not be
It's
a
cheap.
bad team.
John, at that number, of course, at that number, are you kidding
I'll
me?
give you a one that's even better, and I don't know why the Knicks didn't grab this guy. So Marcus Smart ended up getting a buyout from the Wizards, and he signed with the Lakers. Almost exactly the same deal as Beal. 2 years, $11 million for him too.
All
I
right.
mean, you don't think the Knicks could have used Marcus Smart?
Maybe, yes, at that number again. It's
Where were the Knicks
John,
in all this? Why didn't
I
they
don't know.
grab him? They want to play defense. That's the guy.
I don't know if they're going to play defense with the Knicks are going to play
Well,
much defense next year.
true.
So
With the one and
yeah.
done.
All right. So what do you got for general stuff? Because I don't want to. We don't want to get it back into the Knicks because there's
No, no.
plenty of time to
Other
talk
than
about them.
yeah, other than I mean, I really every time I see these signings, I just wonder how the NBA is still in business. But maybe need to take a look at their revenues too to be able to afford all these crazy contracts. I mean, these are crazy numbers. Um, I wanted to ask you a question. I wasn't sure because we've spoken about this. I don't know if they made a ruling on this for college basketball. Have they expanded from 72 to 76 teams yet? Did
Well,
they approve
they're at
that?
68. They're at 68. So it would be 68 to 76. Not yet. Not official. I don't. Yeah, it's not official yet.
No.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
coming. It's coming.
Okay. Okay.
It's coming. It's going to happen. It's unfortunate. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. I get what you're saying because there's a lot of weak teams that shouldn't be in there. They shouldn't even be Division One. I think you got a very good point there. But it's like two wrongs, right? Don't make a right. So it's
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. That's like more of a traditional thing. But now cheaping it, 8 more at-large teams. I mean, you're going to get a lot of teams that are even under 500 in their
Ugh.
conference. It cheapens it. But all these sports, expanding the playoffs cheapens the regular season. And I think it is an impact when you're trying to sell tickets all the time. Now, for sports like the NFL, I mean, the NFL even has trouble selling tickets because this is something we always talk about is, how they crap on fans who go to games in these leagues, let's face it. So it's not that easy to sell tickets. Now, watching on television is another story because
Yeah.
obviously all the leagues continue to do well on the ratings. Actually, it's one thing I have to point out. It's funny, it just popped into my head because with the when the OKC won the championship, I had made because we had done a show, right? It was right before Game 7, and I made a comment that the ratings were terrible. But then you had said the next week, and I forgot to bring it up, was that the Game 7 had one of the all-time highest ratings,
Yeah.
right, for an
Yeah.
NBA game. So good for them, and it just shows the power of a 7-game. I should say a Game 7, how that really brings people out to watch. So I did
Oh,
want to
and it
throw
was
that
a
out there.
competitive series too. No one thought that Indiana was going to give them
True.
such a good series. I didn't think I thought
Neither did I.
maybe it might go 6 games, but the fact that it went 7, again, the Pacers did tremendous. They did tremendous.
So one more thing before we move on, and this is another back for the NFL Jet note. So I wanted to give everybody an update on the Jet ticket office. So I had mentioned that
Okay.
after many attempts to contact me, I contacted them. And John, I still have not heard back.
Wow.
So I'm thinking Jenna may not be a real human being, John. And this is all now being done with some sort of AI where they're
Interesting.
automatically blasting emails out to people. And then maybe on their response, if it's not to say, oh, yes, I'm interested in 4 game mini packs, they ignore you. Because why wouldn't someone who sends you 5 emails and gets a response where I actually said I'd be willing to purchase a few games? Now, why wouldn't you just get back to me and say, I'm sorry, we can't do that. We only could do the 4 game mini pack, which I want fans out there to know you can buy 4 game mini packs as a Jet fan and not pay PSLs. So, John, that's your update. July 23rd, no return. So I'm thinking Jenna might not really be a Jenna. She might have been
Wow.
let go with the video guy from the press conferences. You never know. So that's it. They've replaced the humans with artificial intelligence over at Florham Park. But as we know, despite the fact that Woody Johnson's a billionaire, I don't know how smart that guy is. But anyway, I digress.
But just to defend Jenna, uh, maybe she wasn't trained properly. You know how customer service has been in anything that you do these days. You make a phone call, and what ends up happening, they send you to someone in Pakistan or India to answer your call, and very polite people. I'm not going to say they're not polite. But they have no idea what they're doing. They don't. They're not problem solvers. I'm sorry. So I don't know. It's just customer service across the board.
Yes, offshoring has its downsides side. You have plenty of that. But anyway, let's move off. Let's go. Come on, John. There's just so much because this MLB season is turning into the roller coasters of roller coasters. And the Mets, it just depends when we do this show. Because if it was last week, the Bouk meter, which is the new meter on the Bouk and Zoobie show, which it measures John's concern, which was a 7 a month ago, down to a 5, probably would have been back up to a 7, but nothing like the Anaheim Angels or California Angels or LA Angels, whatever the heck they're called. They're back. They came into town, that big longtime rival of the Mets. So let's all hear about it with baseball with Bouk.
The good thing is today, Mr. Lindor finally broke his 0 for 31 streak.
Wow.
I was actually predicting it last night that he was going to break it because he was hitting the ball pretty solidly the past 1 or 2 games. And I kept saying, uh, I attended the game last night, and I was saying to my cousin, he's going to break out of this. If it's not today, maybe tomorrow. And he hit some pretty good shots, so I was very happy to see. And he drove in 2 runs. Great. Another guy who people are not really paying attention too much. He's been in a slump. I think maybe worse than Lindor is Pete Alonso, where he was 3 for 35 and no home runs for almost 3 weeks here.
Yeah.
Finally hits a home run. Listen, we're seeing the Pete Alonso that we know. He's going to hit 35 home runs. He's going to bat 250. He'll drive in 100 runs. He'll definitely drive in 100 runs this year. But you're not going to have everyone was going crazy. Oh, Pete found his stroke and he's batting 340. I said, yeah, he's not batting out 340, 350. No way. He's a 250, 260. I'm saying to everyone, be happy with 35 home runs this year. Be happy with over 100 runs batted in. Hopefully he cuts down in his strikeouts. But one thing that's very concerning to me about Pete Alonso is if you pitch him like letter high and it's a fastball, he cannot catch up to it. His bat speed cannot catch up to anything over 93, 94 miles an hour. He completely misses it. The only reason he hit a home run today, since he's a low ball hitter, is the guy threw a fastball below, almost by his knees. Stupid pitching by the Angels. I was saying, do they read the scouting reports? the entire league knows you pitch Pete Alonso's the letters and above, he's swinging and he's not hitting it. He's
Yeah,
not.
so those guys were so lucky that we did this show on. We're doing it on a Wednesday. Normally we do it on Tuesdays,
Right?
right?
That's right.
And imagine, because you are so right, both of them mired in slumps, and even Soto, I think, was 1 for 15.
Yeah, yeah.
So amazingly, the Mets are somehow winning enough games. I mean, if you really think about it, with both Lindor and Alonso for, like you said, multiple weeks doing literally nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, you would say that they would be in major trouble. But I mean, I guess, I mean, it's like Nimmo, right? I mean, he's been the guy
Nimmo.
that's been kind of carrying them, because I'm just trying to think, because it's not
Brett
like
Baty.
Vientos. I mean,
Brett Baty.
Beatty's had his moments. He's had his moments, but he's
Yeah.
still hitting 240. And the catching situation and the center fielder hasn't changed. Now, as we discussed and begged for, and the Mets were definitely going to do it, they brought Francisco Alvarez back. I mean, they were definitely making there's something more here. There was some issues, I guess, maybe how he was catching. I think it could be a little off the field stuff. They kept him down there, John, for a few weeks, I think, for more than just the fact that he
No,
was
it was
slumping.
almost a month and a half they
Right.
kept
That's what I'm
him
saying.
out.
He was, or how many say, a few weeks? Well, that's many
I
weeks.
think, I personally think that the Mets messed him up because you kept hearing from the beginning of the year about his newfound swing. They wanted him to hit it more to the right side. And remember what I was saying in the beginning of the year, that he wasn't showing any power? I kept saying, no power. And what I've noticed, particularly at last night's game and the game before when he came back, where he hit the ball to the fence in right center field. I mean, that was a rip. He's showing his power now. So I'm thinking that they let him go back to the way he normally, because his swing looks differently now. Before it was very timid. He was lucky he would even get a solid base hit. The past two games that he played, he hit the ball hard and with authority. So I think they sent him down there to just get his head back on track. He still does not know how to block a ball in the dirt. I mean, he loves to go on his knee and like backhand it, whereas Torrens, even though he can't hit a lick, is great at blocking balls in the dirt. So you got to pick your poison here.
Well, what
I'm
do you
just
think
very
about that? What do you think about the move from catchers going in the traditional squatting and now going with, because I guess Tony Pena started it like 30 years ago, but he was one of the only guys who kind of did that leg stretch out thing.
right.
Now they all do it. And I understand it's the wear and tear of squatting for 140 games if you play that many. It's rough on the body, but you're right. I mean, that's really what the factor is, right? Because they were talking about last night how he's like, at least the leg that's down, at least he's got his cleat in the ground and he's ready to jump out of it,
Right.
as opposed to, being a little just, like you said, you can't move your body if you're not on your toes, right? You can't
That's
move,
right.
so you have to reach. So,
So
so
he had
you
a
you okay
ball.
with that? I mean, what's your view on the
No, I don't like
one-legged
it,
catchers?
and I don't like it. I mean, last night they had a pitch that got by Alvarez. They called it a wild pitch. My seats last night are practically right behind home plate, a little bit off, uh, actually like the second level. So it's not field level, just the next level, and you can see it clear as day. He tried to backhand it, went right by him. I said,
Right.
they didn't resolve this. I said he
But
did
it's
the
like the
same
whole
thing.
league is doing it. Like everybody, all the catchers are catching like that now. So I mean, it just changes. I guess I'm a grumpy old guy, because we'll get to my favorite subject. But actually, it's two favorite subjects I want to interrupt baseball Book a little bit that I wanted to talk about. The automatic strike zone, whatever you want to call it, John. This has to happen. I mean, this. I don't. Did you watch any of today's game? Because I did
Oh yeah,
catch. I mean,
I know which.
Edwin,
I know which.
Edwin Diaz with two guys on, right? He struck a player out throwing six balls.
Yeah, It
right?
wasn't even close. I
One
felt
after
bad.
the other,
All on
right?
the outside corner. I said, well, at least the umpire's on our side. Those were awful. They weren't even close.
John, it
None
just
of
and
them.
this is for our team. So but I just was like, it's ridiculous. I can't take it anymore. You've got the technology. It was one. I mean, that's a crucial part of the game, and you're forcing the guy, the hitter, to swing at a ball out of the strike zone. And I don't want to. Oh, he's being consistent. Like, yeah, you consistently bad. I mean, come on, this has got to end, right? I think it's over, right? Next year they're going with it.
Well,
It's got to happen.
and you notice how they. I like the way they challenge it. They just tap the top of their helmet and then they give the replay. They did during the All Star game.
But
It
I
was
don't even think you have to challenge it. You don't even have to you basically have an electronic system and you signal the umpire gets signaled if it's a ball or a strike, as opposed to even doing a challenge thing, because that just takes more time. So he's behind there. So, okay, there'll be some more delayed calls, I guess. I don't know how good the technology can be, but it's the same thing how the catcher is doing what pitches he wants. What's the stupid thing they use, right? Where they touch a button, right?
Yep.
And the pitcher knows. I mean, there's got to be a way of doing this, John, because I don't
Well,
like
I mean,
challenges. I just make the call based on the automatic box. It's a strike or not. It's in the box. It's a strike. It's outside. If it touches at all, it's a strike. And then just everybody lives by the same rules. You don't have these dumb arguments. I mean, they threw out what the manager and the assistant, or the assistant got
yeah,
thrown
yeah.
out. I mean, it was just I'm sorry, and this was for the Mets. So I mean, that was one thing, and
Well,
then of course, yeah,
well, I want
yes,
to comment on that.
of course.
What I like about our announcing team, Hernandez, Darling, and Cohen, is they all were saying the same thing. What we were saying is
Right.
that it was absurd. But you know what? It's been like that in baseball for so many years. Look what Tom Glavine used to get away with. Gary Greg Maddox. I'm sorry, not Gary Maddox. Greg Maddox, where the ball is freaking off by what, a foot or two, and they're calling it a strike. I mean, these guys couldn't touch these guys. They
No, but
both
the
won over 300
technology,
games
yeah,
because
the
of that.
the technology wasn't there though in that era. The technology's ready now. They have the
I
technology.
know
They've
that,
been
but I'm
doing the
just saying
box for
this
years
has
now.
been part of baseball for years.
But they never
Um,
had replay systems. They never had interleague play. I mean, there's a lot of new things that all, and I
yeah.
hate most all of them. But I just cannot take it when you have an umpire who's just calling a bad game, and the players have to deal with it. I just think it's bad for the game. Anyway, I just wanted to get you on that, and then I mean, I got to keep on talking about this with the because this is John. This is all about winning a championship, right? So this is not about being a good team, a playoff team, even winning a few series. Can the Mets, the way they're built with their inability for their starters or the organization's lack of just guts to say, screw it, we're letting these guys go further into games? John, we cannot sit here in October and watch Ryan Stanek blow it in the
Oh,
playoffs,
please. Oh,
because I'm telling you, John, what you're seeing today, you saw again today. What you see, Edwin Diaz coming in the eighth inning, and you know, John, I am going to say it right now. In the playoffs, when the season's on the line, he's going to be in there. Guess what? In the seventh inning, and he's going to have to get more than 2 innings. He's going to almost work 3 innings. It is going to happen to this team. So what is the availability? Do you agree? And I mean, is there enough? Is there bullpen help out there? Or how about letting like this Brandon Sprout guy pitch, or the other young kid from Double
you
A,
were saying it
Pong,
last
whatever his
week.
name is? When are they going to let these guys? They have to let these guys get a chance. It's almost August.
Yeah. I was saying it. I was saying it the last time we were on. Why not let the minor leaguers come up? You have all these great prospects. And by the way, the one thing that, again, we've been talking about this. is, now we're starting to get guys back, but they're going to have to go to the bullpen. McGill would be fine for an inning or two. I think he has the type of stuff. He could be a good bullpen guy. Holmes has to, during the playoffs, Holmes definitely has to go in the bullpen. There's no way that you can have Clay Holmes out there, and because they really haven't stretched him out at all. They haven't stretched him out at all. But I mean, take a look at what the Phillies did. The Phillies are really desperate for relief pitching. What did they do? Based on a $16 million annualized salary,
Yeah, okay.
they signed Robertson.
David Robertson, yes. Ex-Met, ex-Yankee, yes.
So they're paying him $6 million for the rest of the year to be in the bullpen. The guy who hasn't played all year, who's 40 years old, and he, by the way, he's his own agent. He has never had an agent negotiate any contract for him. This guy's a master. How did you get $6 million? I figure, all right, throw him 2-3, finish out the year. He got $6 million out of the Phillies.
Well, this shows the desperation. This the whole Major League Baseball, and I know we keep talking about it's the same thing, but it's
back. But what's frustrating about the Mets, we spoke about it during the winter, the availability of all these different relievers, that they could have had such a strong bullpen, and they just small-minded, not going after Chapman, who would have been a good Kenley Jensen. You had Scott. You had so many different guys that you could have gone after, and they just didn't want to pay him. They just didn't want to pay him. And now what are you going to do now? You're going to trade for them? What are you going to now? What are you going to give up some prospects for them to rent them out for a month?
So who is the top? Are lists being already thrown out there? So when is the trade deadline, by the way?
It's July 31st, 6
It
p.m.
is.
So it's next week.
All right. They have to make John. And I guess we should briefly we'll get with so what is and we'll mention the pitcher that got another new Met pitcher to bring the totals up. It's Brooks Raleigh.
Yeah,
right?
really. Yeah, Raleigh's back.
That's big. That's big. He's actually pitched well.
He's actually pitched well. Pitched well. He didn't pitch well today, but he pitched well in his,
But he got through it today. But he didn't pitch great. But at least he did get a few outs, right? So he did walk a couple of guys. So but that's a good development. So yeah, John, what's the give us your Bouk meter, which is like what your worry number is, and then also what is the Mets up to now on their pitchers who have pitched at least an inning, who are not position players? What is the number?
Up to 36.
36.
Which leads the major leagues.
So Raleigh was one of them, right? And then what other? Because I guess Davinsky's gone, and how about the guy who pitched for the Mets, then the Yankees for a day, and then he's back. He was pitching last night, right?
Rico Garcia.
Rico Garcia actually kind of was gutty. He was pretty gutty out there, right? But they can't rely on these guys in the playoffs. It's just not going to work.
Well, I mean, listen to the type of players they've had. So, Colin Posh, Jonathan Pintaro, Zach Pop, Tyler Zuber, Jose Urena, Ty Adcock. This another guy that keeps getting signed and released. Kevin Herget, his name.
He pitched good the other day, right? And
he actually did, but they released him. Austin Warren, Justin Garza, Alex Carrillo, Richard Lovelady. We love that.
Is he still on the team? Is Lovelady still on the team?
Released.
They released him because we're
one guy that they released, and I was surprised. He's actually doing pretty well. I think he's with Toronto. Is Genesis Cabrera? He's a left-hander. They let him go. Obviously Nunez. Again, they would have had a solid bullpen if these guys, Minter. They had Nunez. again, Davinsky actually pitched pretty well, but does he want to go back to the minor leagues and then come back to the Mets? I mean, I don't know what he's doing at this point. Um, it just goes on and on, this list. It goes on and on and on. So, yeah, we're up to 36 now. A couple of other things. The getting off of the Mets for now is the Tampa Bay Rays were actually bought and sold $1.7 billion. Don't know where they're going, if they're building a stadium. The new owners are talking about moving them to the stadium to Tampa and not keeping them in St. Petersburg. I was at the David Wright ceremony, the retiring David Wright's number. It was a beautiful ceremony. Probably one of the loudest ovations I've heard in a very long time, and a long ovation for David Wright.
God.
Couple of retirements. Gene Segura retired, Kevin Pillar retired, and a former Met who was not very good, Jake Diekman, retired. Thank God he retired. He was awful. And then, of course, we had two deaths in baseball. Former Cubs manager Lee Elia. And for those of you who do not know who Lee Elia is, he was, if you go on YouTube, he has a famous rant that just ripping apart Cubs fans, calling them a bunch of bums. These are the type of people who come to the games during the game. At that point, the Cubs were in some type of losing streak. They started off the season bad, and it's just one. I think it was worse than Tommy Lasorda's best rants. Lee Elia, Elia. Just look it up on YouTube. Something really to see here. And then former Mets pitcher Jeff Bittinger passed away. So, as far as the Yankees go, the Yankees are really, really struggling at this point. Totally struggling. The um, the the Yankees are struggling with the Blue Jays. They finally won a game off of them last night, but the Yankees are they just don't have it. They don't have it. Again, they have a chance to get to the World Series, but the Tigers have been on a losing streak. The Astros actually have the best record now in baseball. Blue Jays looking better as a team, but the Yankees just don't have it this year unless they make major trades. I've been talking about it since where there were so many third basemen available, and they didn't go after any of them. None of them. So Yankees need help at third base. They need starting pitching help. The bullpen's okay, but they're just a mishmash of players. I'm sorry, Yankee fans. I just don't see. The Yankees are definitely not going to win the World Series this year. So get that out of your minds. But unless they make some major trades. And one last thing that I would like to, two things I want to talk about. The press not knowing who's on the team, particularly the Mets. There was a writer in a major sports publication that referred to the Mets catchers as Torrens and Tomas Nido as their two catchers before Alvarez came back, and that they sent Nido out to the minors. Okay, this was today that someone wrote that Tomas Nido was part of the Mets. People just get your facts straight, know what you're writing about. I'm constantly seeing these mistakes over and over and over again. So please, please, please stop it. I do have a rant of the week. So the one thing that you kind of took away my thunder, Mr. Zubulake, was the ridiculous amount of pitchers that the Mets have had this year. And the fact is that Mr. Stearns is treating the New York Mets as if they were the Milwaukee Brewers when it comes to particularly relief pitching. I mean, I'm ready to start loosening up my arm, and maybe he'll take me as part of the relief pitchers. I mean, it is ridiculous. Half of these pitchers that have come here to the Mets this year will never be seen in the major leagues ever again. You will never see them again because basically if they give us one good inning, the second inning, they're going to get pummeled. There's a reason why these guys are not in the major leagues. Why can't we get legitimate bullpen? Now, the way it stands right now, we have Raley back. We have Budo. You have Diaz. You have, you have Garcia in there. At this point, I mean, Davinsky's gone. What are you going to have? Blackburn in the pen? Maybe McGill's going to be in the pen. Stanek has not been anything to talk about. I don't know. It's just such a shaky bullpen that we have. Just totally shaky. And it's been like this all year. But yet, we've won 59 games. Please, Mr. Stearns, please, please, please. We need to concentrate from the beginning of the year in the off season to having a strong bullpen. Doing this is the second year in a row that we have all these fill-ins and hoping and praying that these people are going to get through. We're not the Milwaukee Brewers. We're the New York Mets. You could spend some money. You could go over the cap. Your owner wants to win a World Series. So that is my rant of the week. So that is really it for the Bouk and Zoobie show this week. We'll see you in 2 weeks. And as always, thank you to our producer, Zach Zubulake, and to our loyal listeners and viewers. Keep the feedback coming. Also, thanks to our community partners, Ronald McDonald House, Kids in Seats, and the Jackie Robinson Foundation.